Right, some people ask me whether there are actually other parks in Calgary that I do. The reason you see my other parks that I do all the time is because I do litter picking routes down there. So I'm going to start somewhere a little bit different today. This is the Beaumont Natural Area. Let's come over to the map here. I'm currently parked up here. This is the area that you tend to see me in a lot. Hey, train, typical. I'm not down by the bridge. Yeah. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk down here. This is Dale Hodges Park, so I'm going to walk down around Dale Hodges Park and back up through and go for the typical. Yes, I get to here. Yeah, I'm not down by the bridge and the train arrives. Right. So I'm going to head down here. I'm just going to give you a bit of orientation as to where I am. So this is a place called Silver Springs. That big apartment building that you can see over in the distance there, that's the corner pretty much of where Honest Park and all that kind of stuff is. And down the bottom of this ravine here, this is where the walkway is. There's the land acknowledgements there for the different Treaty 7 people. That's very good. Yeah, nice to see those all over the city now. Yeah, down in the bottom of the valley down there, there's the boardwalk that takes you all the way down to the springs, hence the name Silver Springs. Over there in the distance on the horizon you can see a thing that looks like a coal mine. That is actually the ski jump where Eddie the Eagle did his famous jump there back in 1988 Olympics. That's where that all took place. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not out in the mountains a lot at the moment. Basically we have a fire ban, and one of the main reasons I like going to the mountains is to sit down, have a nice quiet campfire and just unwind. Some of the trails that I've been looking after are actually in excellent shape. Several of the trails down there, if you follow my videos, you'll see I cleared out 250 trees off of those couple of trails there in the last couple of years. So that's good, so I know that trail's in good shape. So a few weekends I've spent in Calgary, last few weekends and what have you. Everybody in Calgary was looking for the missing little boy Parker Wells. There is actually a tribute to him tonight. There is a vigil. This is Wednesday down at City Hall. They're going to have a vigil for him today, 7 till 8 o'clock tonight, I believe. Yeah, which is very good. So I suspect that there will be thousands of people there. I was going to head down there, but I suspect that's going to be absolutely slammed. So yes, which is great. It's great to see the city coming together. Yeah. Right, so that bridge over there is the Stony Trail Bridge. If you look down you can just see a piece of the river there. That piece of the river there is the Honest Park side that you can see. That's where I normally am. A lot of cyclists and that up along here, which is good. This is all part of the bike path network around Calgary. Again, I still hear people telling me that Calgary is not a bikeable city. I can absolutely 100% assure you that it is. Yes, right. So I'm going to head down this way a little bit and I'll stop at the next location just down the way here. Right, so I've arrived down at what I call Lookout Corner. The boardwalk that I was explaining actually runs down the bottom of this valley, down there, and you can get down to the river down at the bottom there. This is where the springs are down the bottom. And there's nice pathways that head off up around. You can go all the way around. Over there, where those two train bridges are, that's Beaumont Park and Boness Park. That's where you tend to see me doing a lot of my litter picking and all that. That's part of my route. If I start in Boness Park, I go all the way around and back down through the park where the two train bridges are, and that's about a 6-kilometre loop, which is actually quite a nice walk around. But along here, it's a very nice walk. So what I'm going to do, like I say, this is Silver Springs. I'm going to head along to Dale Hodges Park. I'll show you where that is. It's a considerable walk from here, but it's actually a very nice walk. So yeah, this is what I call Lookout Corner. Just get onto this edge here and I'll give you a better view. Right, be careful here because this is all mud banks and it's a little undercut under here. So right, so all over there, that's the pathways that go down to the springs. over that way is Beaumont Park and Bowness Park. I have some very noisy crows off to the side here, and the river heads on down that way. So if you're doing the float down the river and from up at Tuscany at Beaumont Park there and Baker Park, this is where you'll come down here and off downtown, and downtown is that way. It takes you about 2 hours. Actually, if you look in the distance over there, you can just see the top of the skyscrapers, and that's roughly where you'll end up. It depends on the current. It takes somewhere between 2-3 hours to get all the way down to downtown if you do the float down. And I'm surprised there's no boats here now, actually. Yeah, all the kids are off school. So like I say, that piece over there on top of the hill, that's the hill where Eddie the Eagle did his jumps there in '88 Olympics. And I'm going to head down that way. I'll do some more in a bit. There are several lookout points along here, which is actually very nice. There are a lot of pathways that head down. You can see some of them down through the back of there. They head down through, and you can walk along pretty much along the bottom of the hill here. There's all kinds of pathways and things down through there, which is actually very nice, but you actually get a better view from up here. So I'm going to stay on the cycle track today, the pathway, and I'm going to head down that way. Where I'm heading is down to Dale Hodges Park, which is downstream that way. Yeah, if you look down, you can see pieces of the fencing down through there where there's steep sections and stuff. But there are nice walkways all the way along the bottom of there, so you can actually go along there if you wish. It's a little quieter, yeah, but in terms of a look around, it's actually pretty good, eh? Yeah, can't odds it. You can hear the buzz of the city. They are supposed to be put in all the way along here, because that's part of the flood defence. All of everything you see in front of me over there in Bowness, and that was all flooded in the floods of 2013. So one of the projects that's coming is all the way along that far bank over there. There is actually a berm going all the way along there, and it much to the disapproval of the people that live there, because they seem to think they own the river. They don't. They're about to find out that it's actually a navigable waterway. Oh, typical. I'm over here. Where's the train? Over there. Yeah. So there is a berm going along there. The land is not owned up to the river by the houses, although they think it is. It's not. That is, once all the downtown stuff is finished, that is allegedly the next project that's coming. I can actually see the train over through the trees over there. Yeah. Be rather nice if they do put the berm along there, because it means they can then extend the cycle track along the top of it. That is the plan. But like everything in Calgary, you see a plan and you actually believe it's going to happen once it actually happens. So I will believe it once I actually see it. Once I can walk along it, then I'll believe it. Yeah. Either way. Right, I'm going to head downtown towards Dale Hodges Park, which is down that way. Right, so after the walk down the hill, this brings us out into Dale Hodges Park. This is where it starts here. Now, the main bike path continues on that way, and I'm going to head up through this way. There are a million pathways down through here, literally a million pathways that go all over the show. So I'm going to head down through this way, cut across the middle. Now what this park is, normally when I come down through here, I actually head off. There's a shortcut that I head off around to my left, and that takes me around to what's called the Nautilus Pond. So I tend to go that way, I don't tend to come this down here. You'll see this is all reed beds down in here. Lots of reed beds. There's literally acres and acres and acres of reed beds. And what this is a natural water filtration plant. It's very clever. Looking for the ducks, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way down through here. You'll see there's all kinds of little waterways. There's lots of bridges and walkways and all kinds of things down through here. So once I get up to the junction up here, I'll show you where I normally cut through. Look at the reeds. Amazing. I mean, if you're into bird watching, this is absolutely the place to come. Yeah. Morning. They actually follow direction. Look at that, eh?
She does.
She does. This one not so much.
This one just kind of...
Just plods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go right away.
Excellent. Yeah. Lots of people bring their dogs down through here for a walk. Now this is one of those parks. Just up through here is what is called the Nautilus Pond. Actually, go on, whatever. Let me go up there and take a picture. I normally cut through the back way to here, so I'll just head up here and just show you what's up here. So if you want a really quiet walk, it's actually very nice down in here. You don't tend, especially on a weekday, you don't tend to see too many people down in here. I've passed about 3 or 4 people and that's it. I suspect yesterday was a lot busier, but today not so much. I'm also keeping a close eye out for litter, because one of the things I do when I'm out on these walks, I'll keep an eye on an area, and if there's a lot of litter, I'll come and do a litter pick there. But I've done this walk before and carried my bucket for about 8 kilometres and just about covered the bottom of the bucket. So there are lots and lots of bins in here, so that's good. But I'll just show you the Nautilus Pond. That's up here. I say there's loads of bins in here. This was years and years ago an old gravel pit, and they rehashed it into this park and water filtration plant, and I'll show you how this works. It's actually very, very clever. Yeah, I normally come through the back way. I'll show you where I come through. Yeah. Right, up in here, this piece up here is what they call the Nautilus Pond. AKA sediment tank. Yeah. So what happens is all the water flows into here. This is basically stormwater runoff and all that kind of stuff, water that needs treating. So it will flow into here. The boom in the middle has a mesh on it, stops any larger particulates. This piece on the outside here will allow all the sediment there, and if you look right in the middle, there's a hole in the middle, and that allows the water to head through the tunnels underneath here, and it will come out through these little holes up through there. See, it comes out through the holes. Now if it gets too much water in there and it goes into flood stage, what will happen is there's a spill cut-off dam over here on this side, and just down there where the water ends there's like a little spill weir. It's like a level, if you want. The main water from it comes out through this channel just off to the side here and goes off up that way. Now if it does go into high water mode, which it can do in Calgary very, very quickly, yeah, trust me, it can go from 0 to high water in no time. This little canal thing that you see on the side here, that goes off down into the reed beds. Now down through here, let's just take you up and show you the spill dam. The other reason that I haven't come down through here earlier in the year is because the mosquitoes down in here can be an absolute horrendous mess. So, a whole bunch of logs in here, lots of rotten wood and all that kind of stuff in here, and the idea of that is obviously is habitat for insects and things. So here, this is the spill cutoff. So if we get too much water, it will actually overspill over there, and there's like a bypass ditch that goes up the side. But as you can see, it's not too bad in there at the moment. Not too bad at all. So let me get back onto the main trail. Anytime you're building a park or anything like this for naturalisation, you need lots of dead wood, like dead standing, logs on the ground, all that kind of stuff. And the reason that's important is because that gives the insects somewhere to live. So that is the input into the system over there. All the water comes in over that way and then heads off down behind me. There's a bunch of people walking up behind me, so I won't video them. So I will head on round the pathways and show you how the rest of it works. Right, at my next turn off, that's like off to my left over here, all the way down through here, there is a bypass, like a creek that runs up through there. Still full of reeds and stuff, so it does do quite a good job at filtering water and what have you. All along those cliffs and out along the top. That is actually the edge of the glacial lake. When after last ice age, when this was where I'm stood now, was a part of a glacial lake. That was the edge of it. Right. All the way down through here there are nice walkways. Now I don't know, depends on the height of the water. Sometimes you can walk across the middle of here and up across the bridges the other side. If not, you have to walk all the way around. Either way, it's very pleasant. Oh, it's nice and cool in here. This is all full of willows and all kinds of goodness down through here. So I'm going to see how high the water is. There's nice walkways in it down through here. Loads of little viewing areas and places you can just stop and have a rest and stuff. Now, if the water's not too high, you can actually walk across the pieces at the end here. And I'll show you that if I can get round. Oh, can I? Maybe? Yeah, last time I came down, the water was about where I am now. Right, so all these reed beds down through here. They're like great big, hello, Mrs. Duck. How are you doing? Yeah. There's a Mrs. Duck. I'm not chasing you, I'm just going in the same direction. So if you head off into the water, you will be fine. There you go. And have a paddle. Eat some bugs. Eat lots of bugs. Eat more bugs than that. That's not enough bugs. Eat more. Yep. So all the way down through here, these are great big crescent-shaped ponds down through here, like settling lagoons. And they're absolutely full of reeds. See? All full of bulrushes, cattails, whatever you want to call them. They all have different names. So yeah, there's thousands of them in here. This piece I'm walking along, quite often this is underwater, so you can't always walk through this piece. But the water is obviously down at the moment, which is great. There's about 4 or 5 of these little pathways that run through the middle. That sometimes you can walk them, sometimes you can't. So, yeah. So either way, it's certainly not a bad place for a walk. Let's see if I can get you a bit of an elevated shot here. That's not as easy to do as you might think. Right, yes. Gives you a bit of 360, because down in here, once you're in amongst the reeds, you can't see anything. And that is part of the great thing about this pathway system through here. If you want a really nice quiet walk, and basically you want to be on your own out here, it's a weekday, come out here, people walk their dogs through here. It's absolutely amazing park. And it's quite often overlooked by people. I don't know why, because it's actually an amazing park, it really is. Yeah, there's nice walkways through the middle. Like I say, when the water's down, you can walk all the way through the middle of here. And if it's too high, you just go around the outside edge there. But there's lots of pathways and walkways, and yeah. And the birds down through here. Quite often I see a lot of people down through here doing the bird watching and what have you. There's nice pathways up here. It really is a fantastic place to come for a walk. Loads of birds down in here. Don't ask me what these birds are, I don't know. There was a lady I bumped into the mountains there a year ago, 2 years ago. She had an app thing on her phone. Tamara, I bumped into her out in the mountains. and she had this app thing on her phone, and you could just play it. I think it was called Merlin, and just record the bird song, and it would tell you instantly what kind of bird it was. I thought, fantastic. There's some kind of black bird up in there with reddy bits on its corner. I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure anybody that's a bird watcher will know exactly what that is. I personally don't know what it is. Yeah, well, that's very nice, and it's still sitting there and letting me film it, which is great. Yeah, up in there, not sure what that is. As you can see, they're great big crescent shaped settlement tanks, really, and filtering tanks. They're full of reeds. I can tell you now, the water that comes out the other end of this is, other than full of duck stuff, yeah, for want of a better word, is actually extremely clean. Calgary is very strict on the water that goes back into the river, so if it's not clean, it doesn't end up in the river. Simple as that. Yeah. So like I say, this was an old gravel pit years and years and years ago. If you look along the far bank over there, you can see there's actually a pathway halfway up the bank, and that's an interesting walk along there, but you find the mountain bikers use that a lot. There is actually a bike path thing over in here that people have made jumps on and what have you, and you can walk along the top of that ridge over there. I actually like to come down through this way, and like I say, there's many pathways go here, there and everywhere. Yeah. Oh, hang on, there's a sign there. I wonder if it will tell me what that... That bird that was sitting there, that one, just dive bombed me. So there's a nest here somewhere. So wherever you are, there's a nest here somewhere. I was just about to go and read the sign to find out where you are, but it was literally dive bombing my head. Oh well, I will leave that alone. Obviously doesn't want me there, thank you very much. That was funny. Yep. Yes. Oh well. Yeah. That's why it didn't fly away, I guess. So it has a nest in there somewhere. So yeah, I will leave it alone, leave it in peace. This is its home. And that was too funny. Yeah. Right. Now this pathway does go on. Oh, with dragonflies. There's loads of dragonflies in here, which is great to see, because dragonflies eat mosquitoes by the bucketful. Yeah, so there was definitely a nest up in there. So I'm back onto the pathway, the bike path, and if you go around the long way, if it's completely full, you have to come out on this little path here. That takes you right round. But I am going to go along here, and off to my right there is a place in here that you can walk up through somewhere, and there's some benches in there, I seem to remember. I think that's probably as far as I will go down this way. You can go, I mean, if you want, you can just bike all the way down the bottom and into the city from here. Yeah, very easy biking from here. Yeah. Yes. Cool. Very nice. There was a pathway here. I don't know where it's gone. Don't even know if it's still there. Either way, I will go down here a little way and see if I can find it. If it's there, great. If it's not, I will turn around and head back up the other way. Yeah. Yeah, when they were building all this down through here, they had this closed off for the longest time. There is a big open area at this end of the park, which I actually wish they'd do more with, to be quite honest. Yeah. If you follow this path all the way down, it will take you down to the bridge area. Hey, yeah. Ah, there's my go back route. So yeah, while I'm here, I will head down to the bridge area, which is down there, and I'll show you where that is. So after a short walk, it brings you out at the bridge area. There's a couple of bridges over there, and there's this one here, and you can head up the side here. Thought I heard some people walking down floating down the river, so I will head over this way, see if I can see them. If you continue that way, it takes you all the way back up the top of the hill, and there's another one of those lookouts over there. So I will head down in this way. This is quite a nice spot to sit and rest for a while. There are actually stepping stones across there, but you can't get across that way. You can get out onto that little gravel bar. Yeah, that's not too hard to get out to there. And, oh yes, I see some people out in the middle of the river over there. Not sure why they've stopped there. Either way, they look like they're having fun, so that's good. Right, so I'm going to sit on these rocks just here for a second. Yeah. Yes, you can get out on that gravel bar over there, so that's good. I hope these people aren't tied together. It looks like they actually stood in the river, because I think they've run aground. Yeah, that's not unusual. Yeah. Yeah, this piece that I'm looking at here, this is where once all the water is treated and it's gone through all the filter beds and what have you, this is where it comes out into the main river. That's the main river over there. Now you can continue along this path and it will take you up to that corner over there where you see those power poles in the distance there. It'll take you up to there, and there's another parking lot up there. So if you wanted to come in the other end of Dale Hodges, you can come in that end. It's not actually that difficult to do. And this up through here, like I say, this is where all the water comes out. Had quite a bit of water in here because the stepping stones, you can normally hop all the way across there. So it looks like we've had quite a bit of water in here. It's washed some mud downstream. That's good. Sediment in the rivers, that's all part of what rivers do. They move material. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to head up over the other side over there and do some more in a bit. Right, so I'm going to head this way. Yeah, like I say, this is where the water comes out once it's been treated. Gone through the reed beds. Natural reed bed cleaning is definitely the way to go. It really is. Yeah. You can use aluminium sulfate and all that other good stuff for cleaning. But yeah, if the stepping stones are good, you can just walk across there. But they're not at the moment, so a bit slimy, and I don't fancy falling in the river, so I will come up through this way. You can get out on the gravel bar here. Used to be a chair. There was a big rock. Let's see if it's still there. There was one giant rock out there, so you can get out on the gravel bar there quite easily. Yeah. Yes. There are many walkways all the way up through the side of here. They go all over the show. Ah, looks like they got themselves going. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, looks like they're underway. Excellent. Looks like they're all tied together, which is absolutely never, ever do that on the river. There was somebody here the other week that did exactly that, and they drowned. And they were on a paddleboard, and they had the paddleboard tied to their feet. This lot in the middle here look like they're all tied together. Don't ever do that. Yeah, because when you get to the bridge abutments, what tends to happen is the rafts will get swept either side of the bridge abutments, and it will flip every single boat, dump everybody in the water, and that's when you find out how many people were wearing life jackets and how many weren't, and then the fire department have to come and rescue whatever's left of them out of the river. So please don't do that. It is actually illegal. You're not supposed to do that at all, but unfortunately you can't fix stupid. Yeah, these guys are all tied together. I can see them. Yeah, never do that. You have to, the rules are not tied together. You have to make sure that you've got no alcohol, all your life preservers and everything have to be on. You have to be wearing your life jacket, not sitting on it, and yeah, no alcohol and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, river safety is number one. Right, so I'm going to walk up back through this way a little way. This takes you up through some of the more off the beaten track pathway rather than just walking up the tarmac. There's a whole bunch of people walking up through there. There's looks like one of those walking groups heading up through there, so I don't want to disturb them, so I will come around this way. Yeah, this is a nice walk along here. As you can see, I mean, the river, it is flowing pretty fast. Yeah, they got stuck on that gravel bank out there. I can see it. Yeah, that tanny colour piece in the middle there is a gravel bank. Yeah. Yeah, I think they got stuck on there. Yeah, which means somebody then has to get in the water and push them all off. Yeah. Yes, not wise to be tied together, that's for sure. And like I say, if you're walking along this piece, be very careful because the bank is very much undercut, because we did have bad flooding here the other week. So the other week in June. Now, this will give you an example. I've walked along here many times. Look at it, it's all collapsed already. So, yeah, that's what rivers do. Rivers move sideways all the time. People think they stay in the same place. I just saw a heron. There's a whole bunch of seagulls here, and I saw some crows, and I just saw a heron head off upstream. So Yes, we've quite a lot of herons here. These are all seagulls. Or gulls. They're not seagulls, I guess, they're just gulls. Yeah. Yep. So as you can see, this was all very recently washed away. Yeah. That's what rivers do. Rivers move sideways all the time. Right, talking of which, let me get away from the edge of the river. Yeah. I don't know how far along here I'm going to be able to get actually, because looking at the riverbank, I may have to head back and off to my right. Yeah. Well, this did get eroded pretty bad. Yeah. This will just take you back up. It just parallels the path that I came in on, that's all. Yeah. Yes, I'm going to run out of luck along here, I know I am. Yeah. If you suddenly see a big splash, you know I ended up in the river. That would not be good. That water's cold. People underestimate the rivers, especially around here. Because that's basically straight out the mountains. That's glacial water, most of that. Straight out the mountains. Even midsummer, like today, if you put a thermometer in there, it's about 7 degrees on average. Yeah. So you have to be a little bit careful. Go into thermal shock if you end up in that. On a very hot day. So if you're ever going to swim in the river, make sure you're acclimatised to it first before just jumping straight in. Never wise to jump straight in a cold river. Unless you're used to doing that. Some people do. I know a guy out in the mountains there that he swims in one of the local rivers out there that I know very well. He swims in it literally all year. Middle of winter, he'll be out there. He's a Russian guy, and maybe it's a Russian thing, I don't know, but he'll be out there middle of winter swimming in that like it's summer. You know, he'll be crazy. But he does it all the time. Doesn't bother him at all. Yeah. I don't think he's got blood. He must have antifreeze or something. I don't know. Right, this should take me up to the top of the little hill. The other reason I've come this way, a little bypass trail that I was showing you with the nice benches on it, should be up the top of here somewhere. If my spidey senses are correct. This is the other reason I've come this now. Like if I came a little bit earlier in the year, I would be in need of a blood transfusion by the time I get to the top here, because the mosquitoes would be horrendous. Yeah. But there's the benches. See, spidey senses are good. Yeah. Yes. So I'm going to partake of those benches. That's the walkways over there where I was getting attacked by the birds. This is the little bypass path that comes up along the side of here. There's two very nice benches here. So I will sit there and enjoy the view for a second. Back in a bit. Right, little rest over. Yeah, always nice to just sit and watch the river go by for a while. Be careful of the little side meanders over there. You can see these little side pieces over there. Yeah, that's pretty shallow. You could walk right across there, I can see you can. Yeah, but this water is down about 4 feet. Good 3 or 4 feet on what it was. Yeah. Back in the day, before this was a managed river, and the Bow River in Calgary is very much a managed river. Before it was managed, you would literally be able to walk across this river downtown. You'd be able to walk across this river without too much trouble. So, yeah. Lots of people out biking, running, walking their dogs. Like I say, there was a big walking group went by just now, so that's why I cut up through this way. There's people over there running. Yeah. So I try to avoid filming people if I can. If I put it on hyperlapse, they go by in a fraction of a second, so it's not a problem. Yeah. People are out enjoying themselves. They don't need people poking cameras at them all day. Yeah. Right, now the only problem with coming here from the way that I came is I now have to walk along the bottom here and then back up the hill. Yeah. That is the only problem with coming that way. So I'm going to head up here a little touch. Now if you do the Trans-Canada Trail all the way across, you will actually come out along this piece of path. This is actually part of the Trans-Canada Trail. You will actually come across here. Oh, I hear a helicopter coming. Yeah, the walkway with the crazy bird in it is over that way. So I'm not going to go that way, I'm going to go this way. Leave the bird alone. I don't know what that bird is. I will look it up when I get home. Yeah, there's obviously a nest just in there somewhere. Yeah, where's the helicopter? I can hear him, he's over there somewhere. Listening to the thump, it sounds like a Huey. A lot of the oil and gas and what have you, they all use the Hueys because they are still, without doubt, one of the best helicopters ever made. Oh, I see him. Yeah, he's up over there. Yeah, that does look like a Hughes. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I'm going to continue back up. Oh, they've painted the building. Nice. There was a pumping station building thing here. And it was a very bland building. Yeah. Now it looks like they've painted it. Nice. Let's go see what they painted on it. It's like a pumping station thing or whatever it is. Oh, that's nice. Ah, very good. Very nice. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Bit of splash of colour. Not sure what all that is, but they've got lots of new trees along here. You'll notice, I don't know if you see every now and again in my video, you'll see where the beavers have taken the trees down. These fences around the bottom of the trees to keep the beavers off. We have a very healthy beaver population here in Calgary. They can bring a tree down faster than you can cut it down with a chainsaw, I'm telling you. Yeah. So we do have to protect the trees because they will bring them down. Actually, further up, I did actually see where they'd had a couple of trees down. If I can remember where that was, I'll show you that on the video. Right, so there's the river over there. A bunch of people coming, so I will turn this off for a second and then continue on my way. Right, there was a bunch of people coming by, so I wanted to turn this off. Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more boats. Actually, I've only seen that one group of boats. I'm very surprised there's not more. Yeah, it will be later in the day. It's still reasonably early. I guess it's only kind of mid-morning-ish. So yes, we will go from there, and I'm going to head back towards where I'm parked, which is up that way. Right, this is the part where I'm going to start heading up the hill. But I won't video this piece because it's going to be a lot slower going up here. Now on the paths, something to bear in mind that down through here there are speed limits because there are a lot of people. Not sure what that is. Yeah, there's a lot of people on the pathway, so there is a speed limit here. This is a very steep uphill, and I'm going to be out in the sun in a minute, so this is not a good bit to do a hyperlapse on because it'll be a very, very slow hyperlapse because this is a long, slow uphill. It's very easy because there's some nice flat pieces, but I'll do some more when I get up near the top. As I said on the way up here, there are many, many little side paths up through here. So I'm just going to take one along this edge here just for a little bit. Dragonflies everywhere. Hello dragonfly, see him on the path there. Go on, on you go. I'm going to step on you. I want you to keep eating mosquitoes. Dragonflies can eat about 100 mosquitoes a day, so anything that eats 100 mosquitoes a day is my buddy. That's for sure. Yeah. Yes. So this is a very nice walk along here. If you've not done this walk, it's very nice. Yeah. Walking up the tarmac is one thing. The tarmac path is just off to my right. But I think you'll agree this is a much nicer walk. This is there's an island. That island there is right in the middle of the river. This is half the river, and then the other half obviously over the other side. Yeah, that's where it splits, just up here. I've never been on that island because the water is always not quite shallow enough to get across there. Now, I can see people have. I can see little kids camps and stuff like that. People get out there on the canoes and things. Yeah, I'm personally going to continue along this way. Oh, I saw a snake disappearing there. There are a lot of snakes up in here, none of which are poisonous. These are all garter snakes. There's lots of them. And I see people freak out when they see a guy. Oh my god, it's a snake! They are not toxic. They do a great job of keeping the bugs down, that's for sure. And the small insects and stuff like that. Just saw one go across the path. Yeah. So if you watch this, Dave Crooks, yeah, careful running along this path, mate. I've seen several actually along here already. And I was down at the bridge I was mentioning to you the other day, and there was 3 or 4 just sitting there soaking up the sunshine. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, helps keep the bugs down. People always freak out about snakes. The only place we actually have around here where we actually have any toxic snakes or poisonous ones are down towards like Medicine Hat and what have you, because they do have rattlesnakes down there, so be very careful. But that's incredibly dry down there, completely different climate, very different climate. It's not far from here, it's only a few hours drive, but it's a completely different climate. That's the thing with Calgary, because of their proximity to the mountains, their climate here and the weather in particular can change very, very fast. Yeah, but as you can see, these pathways along here are much more up and down. Yeah, I actually find it easier to walk along here. If you walk back up the tarmac path, because you can see way ahead of you, and you can see that it's just tarmac that just kind of heads up and keeps going. This way, if you come this way, you can see that as you're going along, there's lots of up and down, up and down, up and downs. So you don't notice you're gaining the elevation quite so much. And it's also a much nicer walk. Much nicer along here. I'm trying to keep my shadow out of the shot. So, yeah. Oh, more dragonflies. There's 2 more. Yeah. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Somebody over there cutting up some wood. Now this piece down in the bottom here, because of the erosion we've had, I'm not sure how well that's going to be. I'm talking bees. Lots and lots of bees. So many wildflowers down through here, it's just crazy. It's really nice. I'm having to watch my footing, so apologies for the video. I am watching my footing very well because this is a little gravelly along here in places, and there is a river off to my side, and I do not want to be plopping down into the river. Like I say, if you want a nice quiet walk, this is actually really nice along here. And that's where the river splits over there and heads down. Yeah, I can see kids' structures. If you look over there, you can see like a little teepee thing they've built there. Yeah. So I'm going to continue along this way a little bit. I'm not going to fill the whole walk all the way along here, but I will do some more when I get a bit further up. Right, now prior to the floods of 2013, you used to be able to go straight along here, and you'd be able to go all the way along the bank, but it got washed out really bad in those floods. That water was about 8 feet higher than it is now. The other day in June it was about 4 feet higher. So the pathway used to continue, as you can see they fenced it all off along here. It used to continue off to my left here and all the way along the bank up that way, but you can't go that way now. There is no path. Yeah. So what they did is they diverted it. It used to go off here. They diverted it all off uphill. So this piece is still the same amount of elevation gain, whichever way you go, you've still got to gain it. You don't get free elevation just because you take a different path. It just seems less if you come this way, because the elevation gain is short and steep rather than long and gradual. It depends on the day, depends on which one I like to do. I am gaining elevation fast here. I'm not sure if this camera shows how steep this is, but it is actually pretty steep. Now at this point, where that person is there, you can see the platform where I stopped and did the video earlier. That's up there. So from here, you can. This is the choice point. I can head up here onto the path, which is actually fairly easy, or I can continue along here, which is a lot of steep up and down. So I'm going to head on up the path, which is up that way. Right. So just past my first walkout on the trail. Yeah. Right. So this at the top here is a little platform, and this is the easy way to come around to this. Way easier to come this way. Because you're gaining the elevation. Like I say, elevation is not free. But, I've sat underneath there before now on a rainy day. Yeah, rather than walking back up the tarmac, which would be that way, I opted to come up there and around here. Yeah, that's a much nicer walk. Yeah, there's that guy down there in the white shirt that I was just talking to. He'd never been down there before, so yeah, that's good. So there's lots of pathways and things along the side there. That's cool. It's also a nice cool breeze here now. Oh yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. Right, so where I'm heading is just up through there. I don't know if you can see them, there's a bunch of benches up through there. That is my next stopping point, so I will head up to there when I go. And in true Dave fashion, once we get to the top of the hill, sure enough, train comes through. Where am I? Nowhere near the train bridges. Oh well. Should be able to see the train here in a second. There he is down there. Yeah. Yes, the rail up through here is very, very busy, that's for sure. Oh, looks like we might have somebody painting over here. So I'm just going to go and sit around on the step over there. Let them get on with their thing. And I might finish up the video on this corner up here, I think. Hello. Just going to finish up my video down here. There's a very talented painter here. Yeah, obviously way more talented than I am. I can't paint in a straight line.
Well, I've got nothing on the board, so
yeah, well, I'm sure whatever you do will be a lot better than what I can do, that's for sure. Yeah.
It's nice to be out here, eh?
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely lovely. Yeah. Yes. I was just debating going back down that way. You know, I've got to come back up the valley. So I think what I will do is I will call that here. Take the garbage out. Somebody's left some garbage there. So I will finish up my video there. There's the train in the distance, as you can see. Yeah. It's always the way. The train never arrives when I'm over there. Always when I'm over this way. I could stand there for 20 minutes with the camera and the train still wouldn't turn up. Yeah. Either way. Yeah. Right, so that's the trip from Silver Springs down to Dale Hodges. So thanks for coming along. I'm going to call that it and I'm going to head home. Thanks for coming along.